All right, here's part 2 of graphing vertex form, and this PowerPoint is just going to be doing 2 more examples. So in this problem right here, the first thing that we want to do is we want to find the vertex. Well, that's going to be -3, 4. If you're trying to figure out how did you get that, well, I took the opposite of this +3 and then I kept the +4. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to graph that. So -3, 4 is right here. Now it's kind of interesting to note here that I've got a negative out in front. That shows me that I'm going to have a sad face. And you can also think of that as being a -1 out in front. All right, second step we're going to do right here is we're going to graph the axis of symmetry, and that's going to be x equals whatever this number is right here, which is going to be a -3. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw my axis of symmetry. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to find a point that is close to the vertex. So here I could either plug in x equals -4 or x equals -2. Plugging in x equals -2 is actually a little bit easier, but I want to practice doing some harder math, so let's plug in -4. So when I do that, instead of having an x right here, I'm putting in a -4. So this is going to be a negative, parentheses, -4 plus 3 squared plus 4. Okay, remember order of operations tells us that we always have to do parentheses first. So I have to do -4 plus 3, which is a -1. And then I copy the rest of the problem down. Next thing I'm going to do is exponents. So -1 squared, well, -1 squared is equal to -1 times -1, which is 1. So this whole thing right here becomes just a 1. So this is just going to be a 1. And then don't forget to drop down your negative. You can think of that as -1 times 1 if you want, plus 4. Okay, what's next is multiplication. So -1 times 1 is a -1. And then plus 4. Well, -1 plus 4 is a 3. So what did we determine? Well, we determined that the coordinate is going to be -4, right? That's what I plugged in. That's my x value. See how I plugged in for x? X was -4. And what y value did I get out was 3. So now I have to plug that point in -4, 3. Well, that's located right here. The next step is simply to just graph the symmetrical point on the other side of the axis of symmetry, and you get that right here. And then we are just going to draw our graph. I kind of missed, didn't I? I'll try again. Nailed it. There we go. And it is good to double check that we've got a negative. It should be a sad face. All right, let's go ahead and try one more. So I'd like to try y equals -3, x plus 2 squared plus 4. All right, step 1 here is going to be to find the vertex, which would be a -2, opposite of what we see, and then plus 4. The second step is going to be to find the axis of symmetry, which is going to be x equals whatever this number is right here, which is -2. So let's go ahead and graph what we have so far. Well, I'm going to have -2, -2, 4 goes 1, 2, 3, 4 right there. That's my vertex. I'm going to have my axis of symmetry. All right, and I'm caught up there. So last step is going to be, I always say last step when really there's more to do. Anyway, step 3 here is going to be to find another point. I'm going to plug in the point -1 because that's close to the vertex. You could have chosen -3 if you want. That would have been fine. Doesn't matter to me. So let's plug in -1. So we get -1 plus 2 squared plus 4. Parentheses first. -1 plus 2 is a 1. Well, what's 1 squared? It's 1. So we have -3 times 1 plus 4. That gives me a -3 plus 4. -3 plus 4 is a 1. So we have the coordinate. Remember, what did I plug in? I plugged in -1 in here. So that's my x value. And then I've got a y value of 1. So that's going to be this point right here. I'm going to draw that symmetrical point on the other side. And certainly this is easier if you have a coordinate grid. There we go. And let's make sure this makes sense. Is it sad because it's negative? Yes. Is it narrow because that number is big? Yes. So that's a really nice way to check your work. Thanks for watching video 2. Hope you have a fantastic day.